Welcome back to the Lazy A-Hole Ranch, everyone. My name is Allie.
I'm Mike.
And it's been a while, so let's talk about that while Mike fights with and repairs the backhoe.
If you're new here, we repair things and make things. There aren't always good things, but we are always learning and improving. Started tinkering with the old pump to see if I could find a way to repair it, as a new one is around $1,200 and a machinist wanted $750 to do repairs on the splines, and neither was in the budget. So I decided to go with a chain coupler because it would allow degrees of freedom of movement that were not available in the splines, and what contributed to the spline's demise. It was also vastly cheaper than having splines repaired. Then ultimately it was determined that there was enough spline left on the pump to just replace the coupler for $70 or so, and so this was kind of an experiment. The objective here was to remove material to get the whole assembly to fit into the available space. I cut a stub for the drive sprocket out of some large rebar that was around. The stub would then be welded to the flange that bolts to the front of the crankshaft. I think this will be the backup plan if the current fix doesn't hold.
With the hydraulic pump down and the backhoe stranded in the driveway, we had no easy way to lift this backhoe bucket into the maintenance position so that Mike could work on it. So some of the questions that we got, and one I asked myself, was why don't we just leave the backhoe bucket down and work on it on the ground like we did last time?
That's mostly because it sucks and it's horrible.
And I concur. After watching him do it with the backhoe bucket up, hands down, always try to find a way to get that bucket up.
Yeah, there's a reason for that service position. The big reason it's beneficial to get this into the service position is the space between this cross member, I guess you could call it, and where you're trying to get stuff out. There's not a lot of space. You end up standing in front of this, then you're bending a lot. That pump weighs, I think, 72 pounds. It's not great, because then you're reaching out over this stuff and trying to drag this thing out of a narrow spot. And then getting it back in is even better. So with this out of the way, you can stand in a good spot and get it all out and back in.
Another question we got a lot was, why don't you just take it over to that tree and throw it over a branch?
Yeah. We live in an evergreen forest, so any branch that we might have is about maybe the size of my wrist on the big end. It just won't hold that.
Another suggestion that we got was to loosen the hydraulic hoses to relieve the pressure on the inside. That didn't work either.
We just didn't have anything that was going to pull it hard enough in the right direction, no matter what. Now there was just use another machine, which this is the machine.
We did have someone who was going to come help us, but he had his own machine issues. You know, someone said rent a machine, but they want $1,000 deposit. And I think that was kind of the suggestions for the most part that we got. What did we try? The first thing we tried was the Porta-Power, and it worked a bit.
I think standing on it would be the place to be if it moves.
Take it too far, now I dwell in the sand like a fish on land. Like a fish on land.
Let's take it up another foot and a half. No problem.
At the station where you left, everything was falling off. This place must be hell. No more cookies in this jar. Did I take it too far? Now I dwell in the sand like a fish on land. 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 I was getting lost in the quicksand. Seagrass was all I found. I know alternative hell. No more cookies in this jar. Did I take it too far? Now I dwell in the sand like a fish on land.
The next thing we tried was Mike fabricated like a catch block bar. Oh yeah, all the stuff's right here. So Mike fabricated this beauty right here.
Hung the snatch block off this pin, and this straddled structural parts on the ROPS on the cab with the intent of threading the winch rope through the snatch block to a ring that I welded on the bucket. But the angles were no good. It just wasn't vertical enough.
What broke on the winch?
The brake failed.
But we were able to get that repaired. Who makes that winch?
That is a Smitty built winch, and they were cool.
Yeah.
Lifetime mechanical warranty. I think a 5-year electrical, but it was a mechanical issue, so they just send out the parts. As long as you're fairly mechanical, it's not a big deal to swap it out.
I would also recommend, if you're ever buying a winch, to get that synthetic rope.
Yeah, do yourself a favor, get the synthetic rope. It's worth the extra money, absolutely. Got a lot of stuff going for it. It doesn't put hunks of wire in your hands 58 times every time you spool it out. If it breaks, it's less likely to be as bad.
Yeah.
It's just better.
We lost the winch. We did get enough lift on it to stab this bad boy under it. Mike put together this using a chunk of beam, this house jack that I picked up, and a little piece of angle iron. He did fabricable this together here. Man, we got the bucket all the way up to here, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was a little past that. I think it was screwed out a fair bit.
Oh yeah, so we got it up pretty high.
Maybe 6.5.
How did you lift it? Oh, it's a wheel. Next, Mike fabricable this together. So Mike took this chunk of tower, once again put something together at the top for that catch block. This tower, we didn't spend much time. I mean, you spent a lot of time putting it together, but we didn't spend a whole lot of time using it because it pretty much bent at the top almost immediately.
Yep. The angles weren't good. The load wasn't vertical enough.
Yeah, I think this was like the last attempt, really.
Yeah.
This was our last attempt. So ultimately, we reached out on our local Facebook group and tried to look for somebody locally who could just hop over, pop this thing up, take some pity on us, and just help us out for a 6-pack or a home-cooked meal or for something like that, because we just didn't have any money in the budget to rent anything or to pay somebody like a whole bunch of money to lift this thing up. A few days went by and somebody reached out to me and said, hey, I've got a crane on my truck. I'll be happy to pop by and lift it up for you guys. At this time, I had started a new job and I was not around. Mike set up the camera for us. This guy came out, lifted the bucket up. Once I got my paycheck, I tried to pay him. I tried to offer beer, food, anything. He didn't want it. He just said, I'm just happy to help out. So dude, thank you. I really appreciate your help. That meant so much to us. So, that is the saga of the backhoe bucket. Once we got the backhoe bucket up, it took no time at all to repair this thing.
Rivers run dry, dust spreads in the air. 2 dark days, do you have a tear to spare? Make a promise, the world awaits. It's heavy just breathing through this debate. Come on, start a riot. When they love you too much, know it's fake, fake, or even hate. Don't be scared if the weight paralyzes you, stayed at the gate. No, it's a lot to take in, it's designed to know when, don't wait. Don't be scared when the weight paralyzes you, stayed at the gate.
marvel. Makes it a whole lot easier. Everybody's doing this kind of crap. Barring tool.
Ah.
It slides into a hole in the bell housing and engages the ring gear. The same thing that the starter runs. So then you can turn the engine pretty precisely.
Okay.
Or hold it still when you're breaking stuff loose.
Must know it's fake, or even hate. Don't be scared if the way paralyzes you stay at the gate. No, it's a lot to take in. It's the sign to know when don't wait. Don't be scared when the way paralyzes you stay at the gate.
We have other options anyway. Because it chewed it up here, but this is still pretty good.
So Mike is working on a grease fitting.
Yeah, this will be my improvised boot to keep grease in and yuck out. So I'm gonna cut my hand off. I'm not even sure what this hose is from. Looks like some kind of emissions crap. How dare you? Oh, it needs more. Get all the junk off this so it sits flat. Alright, hoist this up in here.
This one was definitely much less yelling.
Yeah.
I guess it is good to find a way to get the bucket into the maintenance position.
Oh, it was worth doing for sure. Those two are easy, and the other two make up for it. Man. These bolts are probably the same size as these, well, diameter, but just way the hell longer. Yeah, it's one of those where you can see it just fine.
You just can't reach it with anything.
So it's one of those, well, I have no idea what it fell off of or how long ago. Yeah, it's in my box now. Just cross-thread the shit out of this and that should be fine. This is probably one of those temporary fixes that'll be on it when we sell it. Cross-threading is like Loctite. part, I want to have a wall-to-wall counseling session with myself. Yeah, sure. Just like that. Factory. Yeah. Where's that garbage? Yeah, one of those. That was one of my fixes. A piece of fuel hose to replace the spacer that's been MIA for, I don't know, ever. It's like, yeah, it's probably okay if the overflow tank just flails around and rubs on shit. It should be no big deal. Oh, that's split. Awesome. Yeah, it's not like it ever overflows into the tank. Just maybe daily.
There's the grease fitting that Mike put in on the front of the pump.
It's a grease fitting in the coupler, so the fitting between the splines and the coupler and the splines on the pump input shaft are actually lubricated. Case makes good stuff, but sometimes engineers are stupid, so it kind of blows holes in there. Well, I think the engineers know better. No, they don't always. Sometimes they're dumb. But hey, I feel a whole lot better about that having a chance at not dying in a year. So roomy. Decided it needed to be spaced up a little more to not endanger the radiator laying against the pump. Now maybe my bolt's long enough. I'll come up with some better solution for this. Can't screw this.
Almost time to fire it up and see how she goes. The battery was dead, so Mike's giving her a little chargey charge.
Didn't even explode.
As you can see, the backhoe is up and ready for action. We still have a lot of repairs to do, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more backhoe videos. I am getting used to the new job, and I've not had a lick of energy as a result for editing videos, but I'm hoping to get back into things over the next few weeks. And guys, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching our videos. Go ahead and check out our website, lazyaholeranch.com, for some handmade soap and check out our blog. I love you guys. Really, I love you guys. Bye.